All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, you see it on the screen here. It is Red Yellow Sabo update day. Not that there's a specific day of the week we're using to update Red Yellow Sabo, but I try to update it once a week for people who are interested in this leader and taking him to the next level and so on and so forth. And today is that day. So guys, today, let me give you a quick breakdown, a quick layout of how the video is going to go. First up, we're going to head over to the lab. We got a game of Nami versus Dragon. That should be a lot of fun. Next up after that, we're going to head over and check out some spoilers, okay? Don't worry, I'll have everything time-stamped so you can skip over the spoilers if you don't want to see those. But we got some OP09 yellow spoilers we have to talk about in regards to this leader, okay? I'm not going to say anything more on that. We'll get to it in a second. Then we're going to hop over to the sim. I've got 5 games lined up for us on the sim, and they should be a lot of fun, okay? They are Red Yellow Sabo, and I'm going back to the Goa Kingdom ST19 original layout by the designers, by the developers of the game. It's like, you got to remember, guys, Black Yellow Luffy, Blue Yellow Ace, and Red Yellow Sabo, the 3 brothers, right? Those all came out in ST13. They were all part of a ultimate deck, or whatever it's called, ST13, where it was 3 leaders and then tons of yellow cards to support them. And, you know, sometimes in my quest, in my journey, in my adventure to make a deck better and better and better and to make it the best, the biggest and the baddest of them all, blah, 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 you get it. Sometimes you overlook things, right? Sometimes you overlook, like, let's just go back to the basics on this and see if we can start from there and have even better results. And we're going to talk about that more as we get into it. So we're going to be checking out 5 games on the sim of the OG version, I'll call it, the Goa Kingdom combo version with the 2 cost and the 5 cost, guys. We'll get into that. Okay, that'll be the 5 games on the sim featuring that kind of deck list for goodness, sorry guys, for Red Yellow Sabo. Then we're going to finish up, check out the sim. We'll break down the deck list that I'm using, talk about potential upgrades, talk about where to go from here, and I'll try to talk a lot about Red Yellow Sabo as a whole. Okay, not just a single deck. Okay, so you know what you're getting into, guys. No art critique today. I know, I'm sorry. It's like I brought it back and took it away that fast. Don't worry, we'll have more art critiques in the future. But okay, guys, let's dive into this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description. I will have all relevant links and any kind of deck list in the comment section. So you know what you're getting into, guys. Let's do this. Let's get into it. First things first. Okay, let me remove this leader thing here. We got a game of Dragon versus Nami. Okay. The volume is off. The speed is on 2x. Now, let me give a quick intro real quick. This portion of the video, I try to have at the beginning of every video, unless it's a special, like, tutorial style video. It's called the lab. We call it the VV lab, or the lab for short, where essentially players from the community want me to review their game on a video, like in a video. And guys, I don't charge anything for this. It's completely free of charge. Here's all you have to do, though. If you want me to review your game, if you're interested in me reviewing your game and having it on the sim, no problem. All you have to do is download it first, or excuse me, record it. Record it first. Most people use, it's called OBS. It's a free program to record your game. Then you can upload it to YouTube for free. You can make it private. And then you can send me the link on my VV Theory Discord. Do not DM me, guys. Please do not DM me. Send it to me on the Discord, the VV Theory Discord, which you can find in the channel description. And I have a channel called Review My Game. As soon as I see it, I give you the thumbs up emoji and I add it to the list. Very easy to do. It does nothing I said costs any money. It's a completely free charge, or free. It's a totally free service, however you say that. Okay, how to get that out of the way for the newer players who might be interested in me reviewing their games. And notice it's completely private, guys. You can't see the opponent's name. You can't see the player's name. This is as neutral as we can get. Now, let's go ahead and hop into this game. The volume is off. The speed is on 2x. Here we go. So Dragon versus Nami. One thing about Nami, I get a lot of questions about Nami. I've been seeing a lot going on in the community lately about Nami. The best way to deal with Nami is to go wide. I see, how do I say this? I see Nami all the time on the ladder, and I never dodge a Nami matchup, because essentially with a lot of the decks that I play, it seems like a free matchup, and that's no offense to Nami players, and I know it's just the sim. People are gonna be like, yeah, those are just bad Nami players on the sim. It's like, well, no, you have to understand, a lot of the decks that I build on the sim are something like green blue Zanji, and let me tell you something right now. Green blue Zanji with pudding support demolishes Nami. Absolutely demolishes Nami. It's not even close. No, again, I understand, you know, things can happen. You can get bad pulls. They can get good triggers, blah, blah, blah. But here's what I'm trying to say. I feel like I have a very good grasp on how to deal with Nami. And yes, there are certain decks that are not favored into Nami. But hey, that's kind of how, you know, that is kind of how TCGs work, right? Every now and then there will be a deck that just counters this one. And then there's a deck that counters that one. In fact, that usually shows a pretty healthy environment. Now, excuse me, if you just don't like it going against Nami, well, there are decks that just kind of stomp Nami. Like I said, Green Blue Zanji. I think Red Yellow Sabo might. I actually haven't gone against many with my Red Yellow Sabo deck. But just the ability to go wide very quickly and swing for 6s and 7s has been my absolute 7s to be to be very specific. Swinging for 7s for me has just been money, because in that sense, I have to make an entire video. I will make an entire video on this later because I know it's a hot topic in the community. I'm not going to say anything about that, guys. I'm not getting into anything. I'm just going to say this. I feel like I will probably be doing a tutorial on how to beat Nami soon, guys, because I don't think it's that bad. Now, yes, for certain decks, it is just a hard counter. But hey, it is what it is, right? Just like how Reiju was hard countered by Red Purple Law, you know, it does happen. But anyway, let's get back into this game. I just want to say this. Judging by this matchup, I don't know who wins it. I have no idea who these players are. I have not pre-watched this game. But Dragon can go very wide, okay? So being able to go very wide, very quickly, getting lots of extra Dawn manipulation from your leader and from characters like Luffy. This is an excellent start for the Dragon player to really kick some butt here. All right, here we go. So Dragon was, sorry, let me just get caught up on the game. Dragon played out on turn 1. They went second, and they played out the 2-cost Luffy. He has an ability to activate main, attach 2 Dawn to him, 2 rested Dawn. Okay, Dragon, we know, can attach 2 Dawn from himself to another character, or from a character to another character. He can't bring it back to himself. And now it looks like the Nami player started off with a Gloriosa, and now we're going into our 4 Dawn turn for the Dragon, and it looks like we're going to play out a Karasu. Okay, okay, hang on. That's fine. Okay, perfect. I was about to make I was predicting he was about to play Karasu, and I was going to say, I think that's fine as long as he doesn't swing. But then he plays out the Kin Killer and doesn't swing. That's fine too, but I'll just say this. I think Karasu might have actually been better in that situation there, believe it or not. It's hard to say though, but as long as you developed one of those bodies this turn, I think it was fine. Okay. Because it's good to keep your rushers, guys. Let me just say that. That's a great card. Inazuma. Okay, sure. -1 there. All right, let's see. So it looks like he's got... So here's mistake number 1, I have to say right away. Swinging when they have open Dawn like this. Whenever you're attacking against Nami, if you cannot attack 4 to 5 times... Well, let me say... I'll say 5 to 6 times. If you cannot attack 5 to 6 times and they have all their Dawn open, now's not the time to swing. Okay, that's one thing I'll say right away. Okay, swinging for 7 into 4 is fine, but this is a 2-cost counter. Thank you for the Gloriosa back. And now it's your turn, and you only have 2 more swings. Okay, he's going to swing for 7 with this guy. Not attacking with the Luffy was very smart there, but look what happened. He got bounced back to hand, and we got absolutely punished. So, but that's okay, because next turn we will be able to play out the Inazuma and the Luffy. And that is the only play unless we draw something better. Let's see what happens. 7 into 5. Yeah, see, now we're going to start losing characters potentially. Yep, 2K, 1K. Ah! Oh no, so that was not good. Trashing the... Inazuma is one of your absolute best answers to Nami. Because what you can do is start swinging Banish into their life, and they have to counter out of that, or they lose everything. And then you just pass turn. Okay? Let's see what happens here. So, okay, so we're rushing. This does not look good. Again, I don't know who wins this game, but this does not look good at all. So that was a draw 2, trash 1 trigger. Okay? And right here, let's see what they do here. Trying to get them down to 2 life so they can start using their Kid Killers to rush with. Okay, very good. Attach that. Wait, okay, did we... Oh, okay, I see. You switched it over from the Karasu anyway. That's fine. Swinging 9 into 4. This is actually not too hard for them to counter out of. I don't know if they will or not. Yeah, they'll go plus 2,000 and then a 4K. Yep, and then they'll get out of that very easily. So again, we have made some massive play mistakes this game. So, and we have no cards left in hand either. But let's see. The game's not over, and I don't know who wins. All right, so let's... Okay, we're going to swing for 9. Swing 10 into 6. Or excuse me, 9 into 6. I can't... Or it was going to be 9 into 4. Excuse me, guys. Okay, they go ahead and take that after adjusting it. Let's see what happens here. Going to move some Dawn around with the leader, it looks like. Okay. So, sorry, guys. I'm not talking much because I'm trying to see what they're doing. They're attaching Dawn in a bunch of different random ways here. Yep, Love Mellow, Love Beam allowed them to draw a card there. Very nice. And now they are down to 2 life. So this is looking good. Even with what I would have considered a massive blunder the turn prior, even with that, this is looking pretty good now. Like, it's like, okay, we have attacked enough times. And remember, the #1 way to deal with Nami is to go wide as early as possible and then start swinging consistently for... Swinging for 9s is okay, but I would actually suggest swinging for 7s straight across the board and going about it that way. 7 and a 5, we are going to lose this character. Okay. Let's see, they play out a Kaya, draw 2, trash 2, but let's see how many cards are in their deck. Let's see, they're not mousing over the Nami's deck, so I don't know what they have. They just got a Gum Giant Gavel from the trash. That's a 1-cost 4K counter. And here we go. Let's see what happens here. They're going to attach 5 and swing for 12. Swinging in for 12. Okay, so they're going to go +4 to go to 9, and probably +4 more to go to 13, and they bounce back the Kaya, of course. So 12 is not... Let me say something right now, guys. If you're going to swing for a large number, it needs to always be an odd number, unless they've used a white snake for the turn. You need to swing for odd numbers, just always, okay? That is just the way to go. Okay, now we're swinging for 12 more. I guess that's good at least, because we are swinging for large numbers here. Let's see what they get. Okay, and maybe we've just run them over at this point. They're going to swing 7 into 5. Okay, good counter, of course, countering out right there. That was the absolute right play. And let's see what we have here, because I guess what I'm trying to say is we could have actually developed our Luffy last turn, but man, swinging in for these 12s, this is pretty brutal. This is really brutal. They get out of that one, go to 13. We're going to swing for 12 more, of course, and they're going to have to give... And they take that last life. All right. This is looking pretty good. Okay, this is looking pretty good for us. And don't forget, you can move the Dawn over, right? So you could have swung for 12 and then 14, right, with the effects there. They're going to play out Kaya, draw 2, trash 2, 5 into 5, okay? Why they didn't swing 7 there, I'll never know. I'll never know why they didn't swing for 7 there into the guy. I know they don't know we have Luffy in hand, but still, it's like, okay, this is going to cost you both cards out of your hand. You know what I mean? Okay, and now we're going to go all in on this last attack here. You love to see it. This might be game. Let's see what happens here. They're going to do that, and GG. So even with... Okay, and please do not take what I'm about to say in the wrong way, of course. But even with what I would consider to be like suboptimal plays, like on the turns up here, and again, please don't take that the wrong way. You won the game, and that's literally all that matters. But there were turns here where it's like we could have just gone very wide very quickly here. Like right here. Let me hit pause. I'm just going to kind of fast forward through these because we do have it on 2x speed already. Like we play out the cross, and we started swinging a little bit early. Swinging early is kind of dangerous here. And right here, they were able to swing into our guy, and then we have to get rid of the Inazuma. And that character has Banish, and we could have gone very wide and just started clobbering our opponent. But I will say this, guys. I think earlier on in this video, I was talking about how certain decks do get countered by Nami. Certain leaders, certain decks completely counter Nami. Good game, got the win. I would just suggest next time going 5 wide first. Because... honestly, there's no reason not to, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because can you imagine if you had... let me go back. Did you lose a character? Yeah, right here. So right here, we have these 3 characters on the board. And they bounced one back with Overheat. That's why we got... which character was it we got back? The little guy. So they pushed back the what's his name? The 2-cost Luffy. That's fine. Because what our board could have been... Kid and Killer, Karasu, Inazuma... and then the 2-cost Luffy giving out Dawn wherever we need it. And then we could blast out the, what's his name, the 5-cost Luffy whenever we needed it. Okay. Good stuff, though. Like I said, it was not a poorly played game. It's just, I think, a more optimal strategy would have been to go wider sooner. But hey, another thing to be said is like, okay, what if you just swing 12 a bunch of times with these rush characters and like lower their health with cards like, or their leader's power with cards like Karasu? Hey, that works for me. Very nice. Really good stuff there. Now, give me 1 second to get set up, guys. We're going to move over to some spoilers. So, spoiler warning. As I get set up over here, y'all give me just a second to get set up. We got a spoiler warning. Because we have got to talk about some new cards, guys. We got to talk about some new cards. Okay, let me remove this. Let me remove this before I forget, like yesterday. First up, guys. So, this is from OP09. Some of these, I know y'all probably already seen all these. But these are all new cards from OP09. We're going to go over about 5 or 6 cards today. First up is a event called Never Underestimate the Power of Miracles. It is a 1-cost yellow event, Revo Army. Now remember, we're going to be looking at spoilers that do have a direct relation to Revo Army in our red, yellow Sabo. And they're going to specifically be all yellow cards today. Okay. Counter, give up to one of your leaders or characters plus 2,000 power during this battle. It is just for the battle. It is not for the turn. But still, 1 cost for a 2K is not the worst thing in the world. But let's just be completely honest for a second. The reason you'd be running this is for the trigger. Excuse me. Trigger, play up to 1 Revo Army type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. Now, I'm not head over heels with this card, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm not like head over heels by this card. However, that trigger is insane. Let's just be honest. The trigger is excellent because you're cheating a 4 cost from your hand into play. It does have to be Revo Army type, but still, there are some good cards like Karasu, for example. Karasu being played from the trigger like this is actually a defensive measure on top of it, right? Because Karasu has on play minus 1,000 power to a character or leader for the turn. So if you need to, you can lower the power of a character or leader for the turn to survive another attack. You see what I'm saying? So very cool stuff there. Very cool, interesting card. But again, for what we're trying to do with red-yellow Sabo, I'm not a huge fan. All right, but it might be really good for something like Bello Betty. Are we going backwards? There we go. Okay. Next up, we got Bartholomew Kuma. Yellow character, 4 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter. Okay, guys, 2K counter. Trigger, if your leader has the Revo Army type and the total of your opponent's life cards is 5 or less, play this card. So real quick, so I don't have to keep repeating myself and like butchering it and stumbling over my own words, there's a new clause coming out in OP09 for these cards coming out of your life, where it goes off the total of you and your opponent's life cards. As long as they're 5 or less, you can do whatever the effect says. You're going to see that pop up a few times in these spoilers. But guys, this card is a 4 cost, 5K, 2K counter. One more thing that's interesting is this is a 7 Warlords of the Sea Revo Army type card. So who knows if there's going to be like a blue-yellow Revo, or excuse me, a blue-yellow 7 Warlords of the Sea deck in the future. But guys, check it out. I mean, this is a 2K counter as well, which would be kind of cool, right? I'm not saying it's going to be a thing. I have no idea. I'm just saying that'd be very interesting. Maybe I think I read somewhere, you see people talking about like, oh, what if this happens or what if this happens? I can't remember who said it, but someone said like, what if there's going to be a blue-yellow Bartholomew Kuma 7 Warlords of the Sea leader in the future? How cool would that be? Could be really cool, but who knows? Again, that's just speculation. I'm not saying that's going to happen or there's been any hint of that. Anyway, back to the card itself. It's a 2K counter, and you're going to be able to play this card from your life if you and your opponent have 5 or less cards in your life combined. I think this card is excellent, and it definitely has a spot, in my personal opinion, in pretty much any yellow Revo Army deck. Okay, next up, we got Bello Betty. Now remember, there's a 1-cost Bello Betty Searcher for Revo Army, so she will not be able to grab this card, but listen to what this card does, guys. I think it'll still be worth playing because check this out. On play, it's a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter. On play, if you have 2 or less life, draw 1 card. Okay, already that's good because it has a 1K counter as well. And then it has trigger. Remember the stipulation we just said? If your leader has Revo Army and the total life between you and your opponent is 5 or less, play this card. I know they worded this one a little bit differently, but just understand it is the exact same trigger where if you and your opponent have 5 or less life altogether, you can play the card. Okay, so really solid. Drawing a card like that. Really cool art as well. That looks great. A 3 cost, 4K, 1K counter. There's really nothing wrong with this card. You know what I mean? There's really no downside to it. It is a little bit understated compared to a vanilla, like a 3 cost, 5K, 1K counter. But look at all the upside. You're going to potentially draw a card. Excuse me. You're going to potentially draw a card, and then trigger. You can get this into play for free. Very solid card. Next up, we got Lindbergh. We got a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter, Lindbergh. So a pretty popular stat line coming out here, guys. Minx, Revo Army type character, counter 1,000, like I said. On play, if the total of you and your opponent's life is 5 or less, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. I'm just not a huge fan of that yet. Hopefully in the future, we'll get more cards that are super powerful, like, what's it called? Fire Fist, where it's like a 2 cost minus 4K where we can combo it with something like that. We have Koala we can combo it with. But generally speaking, I'm just not a huge fan of KO in this way on these little bodies. I understand, hey, this can help you get around blockers. I get it. I'm not saying it's a bad card, but I'm also just not a huge fan of it for what I'm trying to do with Red Yellow Sabo. And again, I know that's selfish. I'm just trying to look out for me here, right? But at the same time, that is like the main thing I've been working on. My main deck currently in the game is Red Yellow Sabo, so that is my primary focus. As far as Revo Army goes in general, this card is outstanding. It's completely fine. Trigger, you can play this card if you and your opponent have 5 or less life altogether. Next up, we got Karasu, guys. Okay, this one's interesting. Notice this stat line. 3 costs, 4,000 power, 1k counter. Okay, very popular stat line at OP09 for the Revo Army stuff, and I'll explain that in a second. Trigger. Okay, first of all, this one's a blocker. It's a 3 cost, 4k, 1k counter blocker, and then Trigger, play this card if you and your opponent have 5 or less life altogether. Here's the thing. In all the Revo Army stuff that we already have access to, 4 is a very popular number. And I think what they realized was like, okay, we need more 3-cost cards. And that doesn't mean they're not printing any more 4-cost cards, because notice we do have Bartholomew Kuma here, and we're about to look at some even bigger cards. But I just want to say, it looks like they have decided, you know what, we're going to print some odd cost cards just in case we want to go first, you know, or just in case we're stuck going first. You know, it all depends. You know, you don't win every dice roll, right? No one wins every dice roll. So a really good card. I think this is a very high utility card, but it is no comparison to his buddy, right? Or the other version, the 4 cost 5k, 1k counter Karasu that can lower the power of a character or a leader for the turn. At least not in my opinion. I know some people might be saying that the trigger does put him over the edge. Sure, maybe, potentially. But in general, I do still like the 4 cost one. And hey, why not just run both, right? Why not just run both? Okay, next up, we got Koala. This is a card I have showed on the channel, but I do want to talk about it real quick one more time. Koala is a yellow character, 6 cost, 6,000 power, Revo Army blocker with on play. Very technical on play here. You may add the top or bottom of your life to your hand and then play up to 1 cost 4 or less Revo Army character card from your hand. And if you played a card this way, you get to draw a card. So you're taking a card from your life, which is drawing you a card. You're cheating a card into play, whatever it is, 4 or less Revo Army card, and then you're drawing another card. So you're technically playing this card out in another card, and you're drawing 2 cards. Simultaneously, you're going down in your life total, which is helping you cheat out cards like this Karasu, like this Lindbergh, like this Bello Betty whenever you hit these triggers from life. So really good card. I think this card is actually excellent because I think I mentioned this in yesterday's video as well. I do want to start talking about certain archetypes in this game, because what I've noticed is if your deck doesn't just remove a character every turn, then it needs to flood the board every turn. There are other decks, of course, as well that do something in between or do something a little bit different, like aggro decks just go face. Certain decks like Nami, they have their own alternate win condition, but generally speaking, the vast majority of the game otherwise is like, okay, you either remove a card every turn or you play 2 cards every turn. Like that's kind of where it seems like things are going. But again, I'll try to save that for another video. Last but not least, I have gone over this one as well, but we're going to talk about it again. This is Sabo. It is a yellow 7 cost, 7,000 power character, Revo Army type, 1,000 counter, guys. Don't sleep on that, okay? 7 cost, 7,000 power, and a 1k counter. I'm going to read the trigger first because it's insane, and then we'll come back to the on play. Trigger, if your leader's multicolored, draw 2 cards. So they didn't even leader lock that part. Thank goodness, right? It's just locked to multicolored leaders. But listen, the on play, though, it's kind of like Koala flavored, where it is stuck to Revo Army, but listen to what it does, guys. Potentially very powerful. On play, place up to 1 Revolutionary Army, guys. Sorry, I am like abbreviating it. Play up to 1 Revo Army type character from your hand on top of your life face up. So place up to 1 Revo Army type character from your hand on top of your life face up. There's no cost restriction on that. Then, if you have 2 or more life, put the top or bottom card of your life into your hand. Okay, so very interesting. When you're at 1 life, you can do this when you're at 0 life, you can use this to gain a life. But if you're at, let's just say you're at 1 life, you could use this to grab the card. How do I say this? You can put a card on top of your life that has a trigger and then take the bottom card that you didn't know what it was. You see what I'm saying? So that way you can basically replace it, and now you have full information. You have a trigger coming into play. It could be like that new Karasu that's also a blocker, or it could be another Sabo, where it's like, okay, yeah, hit me and I draw 2 cards. We'll take it. And then in a deck like Red Yellow Sabo, okay, I'll attach 1 Dawn to my leader since we're later in the game, and I'll put this card on life too. So can you imagine drawing 4 cards from them and having to take 2 life from you? That could be very, very powerful. I'm not saying that's the right play. I'm just saying that is some potential there. Really, really good stuff there. And also, I just want to say a big shout out to all the translators over on the Discord, on the One Piece, spoiler Discord. This one we had, and I think that's it, yeah. This one we had Ray, Kai, Dan, Ikudo123, I'm not sure how to say that, Dan, and then Paul. Okay, big shout out to the guys that stay up all night translating these as soon as they come out. Big shout out to you guys. Okay, now let's hop into some games on the sim. Okay, we've done enough talking, we've done enough blabbering about this stuff. Let's check out what I've got for you guys today on the sim. We have got Red Yellow Sabo running the Goa Kingdom combo version straight out of ST19. The volume is off, speed is on 2x, and we're going to get into this game. First game, we've got Red Yellow Sabo versus Katakuri. Okay, and here's one thing I love. Pause. One thing I absolutely love about the Red Yellow Sabo version with all the, the Goa Kingdom support is you're running 8 searchers, 8 one-call searchers. We start off with a GARP that can search up all the relevant cards we need, and we also are running the one-cost event. I'll show you guys later. Okay, so it's my opponent's turn right here. They're going to play out a pudding. They're going to match our 1 cost with a 1 cost, and they're going to take a life. That was very bold. Very, very, bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. I'm going to swing for 5, and I'm going to swing for 5. Okay, let's see what they do here. Because look at my hand, guys. Yes, I do have a Gadatsu, but if they're going to go down low enough in life where it doesn't matter, I'll pop it with my Sabo. Go ahead, play whatever you want to. And notice they only have 4 Dawn this turn. So whatever they play, okay, they can attack into my GARP. They can have my GARP. They have 3 Dawn, so it's obviously going to be... So there was only 2 options there, right? They were going to swing for 5 with Pudding, or they were going to play out Parasparrow. Okay, Parasparrow, perfect. Time to bust out the Gadatsu, right? So I'm going to swing for 5 at life. Let's see what he does here. Actually, excuse me. I've got 2 aces in my hand. Okay, I forgot to mention that little part, right, guys? I have 2 aces in my hand. So instead of playing out the Gadatsu here, I want to take some of my own life here so that I can get low enough to play out the ace next turn and get some serious value. Okay, and my opponent has been countering out very aggressively. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but my opponent has been countering out pretty aggressively. They're going to play out a pudding here to do a top 4 search, excuse me, for a Big Mom Pirates type or Sanji. And now they're going to swing for 5 and 7, or 6 and 7 here with the what's the name there? The pudding. They're going to swing for 7, and I think I might even take this. I know it sounds crazy. I might take this, and I actually, never punished. Of course, I get a 4-cost 5K blocker Sanji, and now it's my turn. So right here, I've decided, okay, all right, dude, I'm down to 1 life. It is time to go, absolutely crazy on this guy's face here. Swing 7. Okay, let's see what I do next. I have to attach 1 Dawn to my leader. I'm going to push back the ace. I'm going to give my blocker plus 2K. But watch this. Now we're going to swing for 7. I'm deciding. All right, and now we can sit on this blocker, right? No way, dude. We're going face. We're going face. Now, one thing my opponent probably should have tried here. Pause. My opponent probably should have tried to take me out here, right? Because look at what I have in hand. I do have a 2K, 1K, 1K. I've got like a 2K and 4 1Ks. It would not have been easy to just take me out, just like this, but it would have probably been his best chance to win this game. Because look what happens next. Here we go. Okay, he plays out the 7-cost Linlin, and now I'm taking this, man. Yeah, we are absolutely taking this one, right? Okay, I just lost my top life. Your turn. Or what are you going to do now? He can swing for 6, 6, and 7. Let's see where he goes with it. 6 and a 6. No, sir. Absolutely not, right? It's gonna take like the most insane triggers ever right here. Swing 7 into 6 and give a 2K counter. My turn. And here we go. We're gonna go for 7 first. Let's see what he's got. Counters out of it. No problem. So right here, I'm gonna go bounce my guy back. We're gonna go 7 more. And we should be okay here. He gets beige. That's why we did it in that order. And now we're gonna swing 8. Unblockable, but he doesn't have a blocker, and that was able to get there. Sequencing is very important, guys. If I had played out my Luffy, then he could have made that one where it could not attack, or potentially KO'd it or something like that. He didn't have enough in hand either way, but still, make sure to do things in the correct order. You know what I mean? It could really save you a game. It could really win you the game. Okay, next game. So that was the first one. Next we have that was versus Kata. All right, next we have a game against Reiju. Okay, let me make sure we're on 2x speed so we can be good to go. All right, and someone did ask, let me pause real quick. Someone asked in the comment section below, I think in last video, why do I speed up my games? And it's a good question. That's a good question. It's a very simple answer, though. If I did not speed up my games, guys, my videos would probably run between like an hour and a half to 2 hours long for every single video. And I have things I have to do in my life, of course. I know you guys have things to do in your life. It would just take too long. It is what it is, right? All right. So just to give a quick answer there, and, you know, just to make the videos, you know, closer, a little bit shorter in length. So I start off with the GARP search there. I go ahead and snag, I think, what was the Luffy. Excuse me. I'm stuttering like crazy today, guys. Play out the Flampe. Notice this, guys. With this version of the deck, because I'm running 5 cost Ace, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to take my own life whenever I need to gain cards. I just drew 2 cards off that. They're playing Reiju. I'm like, hey, if they've got the 4 cost pudding, they've got 4 cost pudding. Go ahead. I'm going to swing 5 here. I'm going to play out Sabo. Sanji. Excuse me, not Sabo. Play out Sanji. And now it's my opponent's turn. Now, they did not get the perfect start with the stage. Excuse me. It's always nice when they don't get the stage to start. Okay, they're going to swing 6 into 5 here. Kikinojo trigger. Get the Kikinojo trigger. We'll take it. And they did not have any card in their trash to cheat out for the Akiji. Now, I don't know if this guy knows this or not, because I don't know what's in my opponent's hand. But you can play out an Akiji from your hand. Okay, that is another option. You don't have to play it from the trash. Swing for 5, guys. It's going to be a lot of gas right here. I'm coming in for a lot of damage here, right? Because notice I'm at 2 life, guys. Notice I'm at 2 life here. Okay, let's see what happens. Just waiting on my opponent. I'm swinging in for 5. They give me a 1K counter. And swinging in for 7. Going to play this guy out. And I think I'm actually going to pop that guy. So I popped his Akiji there. Honestly, I don't think I should have. Like, I'm looking back, and I think I should not have done that. Yeah, looking back, what I think I should have done there was just go all face. I mean, everything face. Force him to be on a clock. Force him to attack into my board, which he can't destroy anyway because it's cards that's going to give me life and stuff like that. I think I did that a little bit poorly. But that's okay. We did get rid of his Akiji, so now he has to get that back somehow if he wants to play out the 7 cost Akiji. He's going to swing for, it looks like 7 at face. Okay, that's a pretty big attack. We're going to give him a 2K, 1K. I don't want to get too low because Reiju's pretty explosive. You can never count Reiju out of the game. They can just go like nuclear at any time. Okay, they get a Sora here. They're going to, see, now they're going to be able to grab back the Akiji, but they can't play it this turn because they only have 3 Dawn. So that hurts, and now it's like, okay, let's just start attacking face here. We're going to go 7. They have 4 cards in hand. You guys know where this is going. Pushing this card back, swing in for 7. Okay, they take it, swing in for 7, play out Ace, and I messed up the sequencing. Okay, I did not do the correct sequencing there, so I didn't get to attack with my Ace. That's a big problem, because I might have been able to win the game right then, and now they could potentially come back and beat me. I just want to mention that. That was absolutely a mistake in every way, shape, and form. Okay, now it's my opponent's turn, and they do just give up, because notice their hand. They just didn't get a good pull. One thing about Reiju, it does have to be said, it doesn't happen often, but they can get a pretty, like, crappy pull, basically. And because we popped that 4 cost Akiji, that ended up being, like, a pretty massive play there to stop my opponent, so I am glad I did that looking back. But other than that, that was a really good game. Reiju can brick, guys. Reiju can absolutely brick. It's not going to happen all the time, but it can happen at any time. All right, next up, we got a game versus Red-Black Sabo. Now it is time for some Sabo on Sabo aggression. I have to show this guy who is boss. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, in all seriousness, though, Red-Yellow Sabo does not care about this guy's blockers, right? Like, it just, I mean, I guess they are strong, but I've got 2 unblockable Luffys in my hand. Okay, swing for 6 here. I just pause. So I play out the Nami early here just to keep some aggression on my opponent, and I'm going to swing for 6 with Banish. I'm just doing that to force my opponent to use some cards from hand or get ultra punished. Okay, and now it is their turn. They have a 4 Dawn turn. This will probably be like a Borsellino turn, or actually they just swing for 9. Okay, we will take that every single time. And now, because they haven't put any pressure on me, I can do this turn very differently. Now we're going to swing for 7 unblockable. So I've gotten 1 2K counter out of their hand. Watch this, guys. I just got another 2K counter. And let's see what else he has. Just waiting for my opponent. A 1K counter Sabo blocker. He did not want to have to trash that card, I promise. Then he plays out another 2K counter. So I have seen 3 2K counters this early in the game. So that is extremely relevant knowledge, extremely relevant information here. I'm going to swing for 6. I'm going to play out Luffy. I'm going to swing for 7. I'm going to put this card on top of my life and swing for 5 more. That's where we're at in this game. That's what's going on. It's like, dude, I am just going to be coming in ultra aggressive every turn for the rest of the game. Now, my opponent does, I think he plays out the new, the 8-cost Luffy here, the one that has Banish, which is a cool idea, but I have to say, every time I try this card, even in Rush Sanji, I have not had any luck with this card. Now, this guy is running Rico Doldo the third, or whatever his name is. That's kind of weird, because that is, like, I don't understand the idea, but I guess it can buff up cards like Sabo. Okay, he's swinging 5 into 5. I am going to at least, I don't want to take this, but at the same time, I think I needed to, just in case. Because he could have chosen not to swing that turn. Okay, now if he chooses to swing, now I can counter out. But Yamato does force the attack to be a 6K, which is annoying. Okay, we'll give him a 2K counter here, right here. So I will say this, looking back, I think I should have countered out of that. That's just me personally, like looking back. So I'm going to swing for 7. I thought I paused it. Did it not pause? There we go. I thought I paused it, but I didn't, guys. Okay, and then I had to look over here like, wait, did I throw off the recording? I didn't. We're good. So I'm going to swing for 7 into 5 with my leader, 7 into 5 with ace. And I've seen, remember guys, we have seen 3 2K counters already. Now we're swinging 7 again. So that was a 7, 7, 7. And now look at my hand. If he swings in, or it doesn't matter if he swings in, I'm just going to play out Luffy and go unblockable next turn, right? Okay, let's see what my opponent does here. They're going to swing for a 9 into face. This has Banish. I'm just going to let it go because I have rushers. I don't need to save that. It would cost every card in my hand to save that. For what? Like, I don't need that. They have 10 Dawn, though. They can do some damage this turn. They're going to play out a Borsalino. But, hey, guys, you see what's in my hand, right? We already know. And he should already know, too, because we did swing at him once with our Luffy. So he should know what's in my hand. And if that's the case, guys, this is going to be a swing 6 with my leader, and then swing everything else with Luffy. All right, so he swung into what's her name, Nami. I don't care at all. 6 into 5 here. I'll just at least play this safe, whatever. I could have got a trigger though, and that would have actually been pretty nice as well. Attach 2, swing for 7. This will force a blocker out of his hand. Rico Doldo cannot give a buff to any of these characters on the field, but he does at least save it, and I'm coming in for 9 unblockable. Pause. He has 1K counter in hand. If he was not able to KO there, all I have to do is push the card back to my life, and I've got 3 life, and I've got 5K in counter, and I had, what was that coming out of life? Another 1K coming out of life that could have potentially popped one of these attackers. So I was in pretty good shape there, basically. You know, that's the best way I can say it. Okay, next up. That was a fun one. Red-Black Sabo might be pretty decent now the Red-Purple Law is gone, guys. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, and we got 2 more games here. Next up, we've got a game versus Dragon. Okay, Revo Army versus Revo Army squaring off. And I have to say, I feel like Red Yellow Sabo is pretty decent into these aggro decks because number 1, we are aggro, right? Excuse me. Number 1, we are aggro. But number 2, we get to gain a life every turn, which does change up the, you know, the tone of the battle, so to speak. It changes things up. 1000 Sunny on turn 1, guys. That is a pretty good start to their turn, to their game, and we're not liking that. So we're coming in for 5. We're coming in for 5. Pass turn. I'm not using a Flampe this game, right? I'm not feeling that bold in today's game, right? We're going to save the 2K counters for hand. We're going to save as much life as we can. He plays out Tanaka-san, which is a really strong 3-cost, 3,000 power blocker that trigger plays the card. It's actually a very good card. It's not like insane. It's not broken. It's just a very solid card. Okay. So we swing for 5 there and he takes it. This guy's just going down super low in his life. I play out a 5-cost 6K Luffy, and I'm basically daring him. Like, okay, do you run Jet Pistol? You can pop my character if you want to, but otherwise I'm going to use it to pop other cards. Okay, so right here he's going to come in for 7. Looks like we're going to take this because he's got a 5K attack we can counter out of much easier. Okay, and now it is my turn. It is now time to start, I think, battling for the board. So we're going to swing 6 into 6. Give me a 1K counter or a 2K. We'll take that too. Or a blocker. We'll see what he does. We're in the position to go for board right now. So some people ask me, you know, a lot of people have asked me, like, when do you know when to go for board versus when to go to face? Well, in this situation, we have a relevant target on our opponent's side of the board. That's a 6,000 power body. I don't want to just leave that on the board unless it's going to cost my opponent cards from hand. So, swinging 6 into that character forced 1 card out of my hand. Swinging 6 more will force another card, and then swinging more will force another card or the blocker or the body. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to outvalue my opponent because I can always just push my Luffy or one of my other cards back to my life and get value in that way. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to play out the... This might be a bold play here. I'm going to pop the blocker. I'm going to push this card back to the top of my life, and I'm going to swing in for 8. So the reason I chose to do it like that is because, number one, I need to get this blocker off the board, and I need to do everything in my power to get this 6,000 power character off the board as well. So while I did lose a life, I actually gained it right back with this effect, with our leader effect. And now this is going to cost him a 2k and a 1k. Okay? And now he's down to 5 cards in hand. So let's just analyze the board state real quick. My opponent has 2 life. I have 2 life. My opponent has 1 character on the board. I have 1 character and then a pseudo character. You know, Garp, no offense to Garp, of course. Garp's the man. But like this 2,000 power body, it's better than nothing, but it's also not an incredible factor currently. I have 7 cards in my hand and he has 6, and he just drew for the turn. So he's about to play stuff out from that in that way. Now, the one X factor is that stage. Okay, that stage is not a joke, guys. Have you guys noticed how stages keep getting banned in this game? Like Moby Dick and like Innie's Lobby? It's almost like stages have these incredible amounts of value. But again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying stages are extremely, extremely important. So in this case, this game is a lot closer than it looks, but it wouldn't be if I had not made those attacks in his Sanji last turn. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what he decides to do here. He's on his 8 Dawn turn. We know what Dragon can do with 8 Dawn. He chooses not to play out the 8-cost Dragon. Maybe he doesn't have it in hand yet. He's going to swing for 7. I'm going to give him a 2k, 1k. I have to respect that attack. I still want to take a damage this turn or take a hit this turn, but look at this guy, man. He is coming in for rush after rush after rush, guys. This is hard to deal with. Okay, then he's going to swing for 7 into 5. I'm going to give him a 2k, 1k. And I was very fortunate to draw quite a few 2Ks in this game because I think you guys, I'll show you guys the list after this game, but I think I only run like 8 2K counters altogether. So it was nice seeing 2 of them this early. All right, so right here, I do have to eat up this board. I have to gain life or I have to try to go for game. I'm going to go 8 into 6. Okay, that was nice. Play out the Kikinojo, push this to life. I'm going to go 9 into 7. That should take that out. Now look at the temperature in the room, right? Look how things are going now. Go ahead and attack me if you want to, because I'm going to get a body from it. Or go into my board, and I just don't care anyway. That's fine, right? Because I can keep gaining life every turn. You can't discredit that. Like you can't ignore that. It is a real factor, especially running as many rush cards as I have. Okay, so here we go. He's going to play out the Gordon. He's going to minus 3,000 to my Luffy. Minus 3,000 more. My guy is a 2K, 2,000 power character right now. Let's see what he decides to do. 7 into 2. You can have it, buddy. I can't save it if I wanted to. And he's got 6 Dawn left. Let's see what he chooses to do here. I thought he was going to play out a Sabo. So let me pause real quick. I thought he was going to play out the 6 cost. I think it's a 6 or a 7 cost. I can't remember. There's a Revo Army Sabo. I think it's either 6 or 7 cost. And it can pop 4,000 powers worth across 2 characters. He could have popped my Garp and my Luffy with that, but maybe he just didn't have it. I don't know. Okay, plays out that guy, and here we go. Is he gonna attack enemy? I'll take it, and I'll get my body from it. All right, here we go. Now again, I kind of have this guy in a pretty decent loop here. I'm gonna swing 7 into that guy. I'm gonna do a top 5 search. We'll go ahead and grab a Luffy, arrange the cards on the bottom of the deck in any order, and right here. So I really don't want to lose my Luffy, but at the same time, if I lose it, I lose it. That's basically my mindset here. So I'm gonna swing 7 here. I messed that up. I should have. Okay, never mind. No, I didn't. Again, protecting your rushers is extremely important for this deck. Because now he can't just wipe my board and I can't go for lethal next turn or something. Like, no, I'm going for lethal next turn. So I know he's going to play out Dragon at this point, or at least I have a very strong idea that he does. Okay, that's fine. So he's going to play out the Luffy. Pause. What is it that he can do in this situation? What is the most he can do now if he tries to go for face? He has 3 Dawn left, and he still has his leader effect. So the best he can do here is play out Zoro, attach 2 with the leader, and swing for 7 more. And I already know I can get out of that, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to force him to do it because he's going to feel like he needs to do it. And he probably does. He does have to do it. Okay, I do a top search here. I just get anything with a 1K counter that I could grab, and now he's going to play out Zoro, attached to from his leader, and he's coming in for 7 at face, and I'm going to be able to very easily counter out of this. Good game, right? That's basically game. So we'll come in for 7 first, in case he has a jet pistol. We'll just get this out of the way. And then if he, okay, he counters out, so now I can just go 5 with my leader, right? Swing for 5 with leader, and swing everything the rest on Luffy. GG. Okay. Oh, wait, he countered out and actually just messed up. So he countered out with not enough. But at that point, it doesn't matter anyway, right? I'm going to come in for 14. I was going to come in with Luffy. There was just no way out of it. But that was actually technically a miscalculation. Really good game there. We got 1 game left, guys. We got 1 game left. This one's actually, just kidding. We got 2 games left. Surprise. We got 2 games left, guys. We got 2. So we had 6 games for today. This game up here, we got against Kaido. Purple Kaido. This is a leader that is seeing a lot of been seeing a lot of play lately in preparation for OP08 because it's a nasty little ability they got here, guys. But, all right, let's see what happens here. So I go second, which I do not want. I'm going to swing 7 into 5 with Banish. He gives me a 2K 1K. He gave me the whole combo. He gave me the 2K 1K combo there of page 1 and ulti. We'll take it every single time. He's going to smash in for 7. I get a trigger, 3 Brothers Bond. I'm fine with taking hits with this deck, guys. Like that's the thing about this deck. I'm completely fine with it. And right here, okay, let's see what I choose to do. I'm going to swing for 6 first, just in case he has any kind of special triggers. You never know. And let's see what he does. Right here, I'm going to play this guy out, swing for 7. And then I'm going to push him to life, and I'm going to swing for 5 more. I'm daring my opponent to use the leader effect. I dare him to go down 7 Dawn right now, right? Now, who knows if he had, let me pause, if he had like a Black Maria, then it would have been not as severe. But I played that ace up there, daring him to reduce his, to lower his Dawn. By the way, if he had done that, I could have popped it with my Sabo, right? So I'm coming in for 7 here. This is rough. This is rough to watch here, guys. Okay, I have to at least put 1 on it. I'm trying to do some math here. Whoops. So definitely made a mistake there. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm just going like absolutely crazy right here. And he just leaves the game. That's why I had a 6th game, because I remember this guy just leaving. Okay. That turn was going to finish with me swinging for 10 with Vanish. Right? So he was going to lose a Dawn there. Well, actually, he could have countered out of that one. He could have countered out of that, which he should have. And then my leader was going to come in for 9. Or excuse me, 10. Right? Hang on. I can't do math. 5, 10, 11. It was going to be 11 with Banish to get rid of that page 1, and now it's my opponent's turn. They could play out the Kaido or something next turn if they needed to, but they definitely can't, you know, get any crazy attacks at my face at that point, though. And I could easily counter out if I needed to. Okay, now we have 1 more game. Sorry about that, guys. You guys got an extra game today. We got a game versus Nami. Okay. Now, I think I even mentioned earlier, I don't see Nami a whole lot with Red Yellow Sabo, but if anyone's wondering how this matchup does, did it work? Yeah, it did. Okay. Volumes off, speeds on 2x, game versus Nami here. This deck does pretty decent into Nami. I start off with a Makino Searcher. I'm seeing if I could cheat any cards in a play later in the game. And what did I see? We do have to go back real quick. I'm sorry, guys. So I play out Makino, and it was nothing. It was a total whiff. I was absolutely annoyed by that. That was like, okay, that stinks. You know, that was just a total whiff when I needed that card. Okay. Just waiting on my opponent now to do their top 5 search with Sengoku. This was a very interesting Nami list. Let me say that right now. I remember this one. I believe this is a 7 Warlords version of Nami that is very, very interesting. I'm not saying it's the best version, by the way, but I think it's a very cool deck. And it was the only Nami deck that I'd ever seen that can actually swap. Like, it's like, no, we're going to go for game. Or how do I say this? We're actually going to try to run you over, like take all your life. Or we can just switch back to the other strategy of just milling ourselves out. Which is pretty cool. Okay. Waiting on my opponent. They are taking a little bit of time here. You see me move my mouse. I get a little impatient sometimes. I'm like, all right, you know, play. Because I'm thinking I still think this is normal Nami. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. He can search certain cards up with Sengoku. I think they can search up Desert Spot and a few others. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's how it works. So I'm just passing the turn. And they're just getting set up and set up and set up. And I'm like, wait a minute. Watch this. I think this is the turn where I realize, like, wait a minute. Something's not right here. Now, again, Edward Weevil draws a card from hand. Jinbei plays out a card from hand, like Edward Weevil. But I play out the Sabo, I pop his character, and I'm still trying to go wide because I don't want to give him too much here. But he only had 2 Dawn that turn left to work with. I could have started attacking potentially. However, if I did and he hit a trigger to bounce one of my characters, that would have been massive. Like, that would have been horrible for me. Okay, swinging in for 5. We'll give him a counter here. We'll give him the Nami. Nami is very good into Nami is very good into Nami. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, just waiting on my opponent here. They swung for 5. We counter out. Now we can start going for their board a little bit here. And that's what makes this very interesting, right? Okay, I was going to say, let me make sure I do this in the correct order. That's what makes this very interesting. Look, they're still going to have these massive counters in hand. There's a Gum Gum Giant Gavel. It's like, okay, he just easily... He tried to save a character with Gum Gum Giant Gavel when I believe that card can only save leaders. So he either misclicked or he did not read the card, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it can only save your leader. So he was not able to save the Jinbei there, but he was still able to use his mill. So who knows? Maybe that was calculated. I have absolutely no idea. I play out a Monkey D. Luffy. I pop his guy. And now I still have 2 other attacks, right? Potentially 3 other attacks here. So we will swing for 5. And then I think we're going to swing for 6. Okay. And I don't know if I swing with Luffy or not. I don't think I do. Maybe I... Okay, I do swing with Luffy as well. Okay. He does Level Up Beam. Draws a card from that. Very nice. Again, I don't know what to expect at this point, because when I saw the Jinbei and Edward Weevil combo with these double Sengokus to start, I'm like, what is going on? Okay, he takes out my Onami. I don't care about that at all. That card's not, that card doesn't matter to me. Okay, but that Zeph does, because I know he's trying to go face here. So it's very good that we got the Sanji right here, right? The Sanji is going to come in pretty handy, I think. Depends on what we decide to do here. We're going to swing 6. We're going to poke him first. I want to see what he does. Is he going to use a White Snake? Uses a 2K counter. Okay, we will take that. We will take the 2K counter there. And now we'll smack him a few more times with these 6s. I want to force the Desert Spadas out of his hand now. He still has 22 cards left in his deck. We're fine, because I can still develop 2 bodies this turn. And it's probably going to be... So I swung for 6 3 times, and then I'm going to swing for 7 here, and then I'm going to play out the Sanji. Okay. I actually play out the Luffy, because I can play out the Ace next turn for additional attacks. This was an interesting deck, though, right, guys? I mean, for those who have seen like a lot of Nami games, I've never seen a deck like this one. This was really cool. So he swings 6 into there. I am able to 2K counter out, so of course I do that. 7 more, I'm going to have to give him the blocker. I don't want to lose my Luffy unless I absolutely have to lose it. He's going to do a Sanji's Pilaf. He's down to 4 cards left in hand, or 4 Dawn left for next turn. That is scary territory for those who have played Nami, and I have played quite a bit of Nami, like actually piloted it myself. When you're down to 4, they just tapped out. Okay, pause. At this point right here, I'm licking my lips. Yeah, I'm licking my chops here. I'm like, ooh, okay, buddy. That was ill-advised. Okay, not wise. That is not the way to go about Nami, because at that point you told me, like, okay, you don't have any counter in hand for the most part, right? Or no, well, let me say no event counter in hand. So I'm like, okay. Now I'm feeling pretty good about this game. Totally tapped out. I can do whatever I want. I can attack the Zeph 5 times here if I want to. Like, not to say I should. I have to make sure I do things in the right order here. I'm trying to do a little bit of math right here, as you can see on the board. So I'm going to swing. I think I'm going to swing for 6 into Zeph here, or I might go for lethal. Like, there is a world. Sorry, I am taking a lot longer than I normally take, because this is on 2x speed, right, guys? This should be on 2x speed. Yes. I'm doing a little bit extra math here. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me see if I should just go for a game. Because remember, they don't have Dawn active. Okay? So this is coming in for 7. That means it will force a 2K and a 1K. Or a 0-cost 3K if they're running that. Who knows? Okay, so 7 into 5. Let's see what they get. And a lot of their bounce mechanics hit a 4 or less, or a 3 or less, I believe. They give me a 2K, 1K. Okay. All right, so let's go in for 7 here. That goes through. No trigger. Going to play this guy out. We're going to go for 7 more. Yeah, and I think I decided right here I'm just going to go for lethal, because I'm like, I just don't see you having the counter. Now, swinging with that card first was a little bit dangerous in case they had like a Death Wink or something. They get an overheat. Okay, and they bounce back a Sengoku, so I know they have counter now. And now I'm going to play... Okay, I almost messed up bad right there. So I push that card back to the top of my life. I play out the Ace again. We're going to swing for 7. Then we're going to swing for 8. We're going to swing for 8. So this is pretty much the writing's on the wall. If he can survive this, then he can survive. It's just that simple. And then I probably would lose. That's the funny part, right? If he had survived right here, I'd probably lose the game on the crackback. So swing for 8, GG. They only had 1K counter left in hand because they're tapped out. Look, they have a perfectly good 4K counter in hand, but they have no Dawn. And that was the greedy part about playing out the Bellamere, and that's why I wanted to punish them to the best of my ability by just going all in on them right there. Now, one more thing I do want to say is that I could have gone for the board, and I could have still popped the 4-cost Bellamere with my guy, with my 4-cost Luffy, and that would have extended the game, and I would have had just as good a chance to win in that way. But again, just trying to read how the match is going. Like, wait a minute, you've used all these 2K 1Ks already, like Sengoku's and like 2K counters like Crocodile. I don't see you having that much counter power left. And that was a judgment call I had to make. That was a decision I had to make. Okay, that was fun. Let's check out the list. We're going to talk about it. There's a few revisions that have happened. Let me just get rid of this card, and let me get rid of, I think it was like Sanji. No, I know I had Sanji, excuse me. Oh, that's what it was. It was just Gadatsu. So this is the only difference that I had. This is the deck you guys just saw, and I actually think it was like 3 and 3. It was something along these lines, or it might have been, you know, let me just let the yellow cards load in for a second, guys, and let me move my face while we're waiting. So real quick, in this version, I was running Gadatsu. I was running 2x Gadatsu, and I was running the version just like you see on the screen here. Now, since then, let me let the red cards load in as well real quick. Since then, I have decided I'm going to run Kid and Killer. It's just more aggressive, and I found myself not running the Gadatsus very often. Like, the Gadatsus were just not coming up when I needed them, and this card, Sabo, ended up just always being better. Because I want to drop my life down to play out Ace and run people over with Ace, because Ace becomes a souped-up version of Sabo in this list because we get the added combo power of the 2-cost Ace. So let me grab where is Kid and Killer. So I got rid of the Gadatsus. I went back up the Sanjis to this, and this is the current list I'm rocking with, guys. And let me tell you right now, it is fun. Okay, let me bring the red and yellow cards back up for a second. It is very fun. It is very solid. Now, with that in mind, actually, okay, let me break the list down real quick and talk about it, and then I'll say what I was about to say. So I'm running 2 Kid Killers, like I said, and then I'm running 4 of every single card you see on here. This list is not modified. It is not edited. This is almost like a cookie cutter out of the box build with just a few cards added that are just increases to the deck, like the 5-cost Luffy, the 4-cost Sanji, the 5-cost yellow Luffy, Onamis, Flampeys, just minor additions to all of the original ST13 stuff. So 4 of all these cards. 5-cost Rush Luffy, Flampey, Sanji, Onami, the 5-cost Rocket Boots Luffy, 5-cost Yellow Sabo, the 2-cost Ace, the 5-cost Rush Ace, the Makino, Garp, Luffy, the 2-cost Luffy, and 4 of the Three Brothers Bond. And this deck looks very simple, doesn't it? Like, oh, that's easy. But sometimes, you know, less is more. Sometimes less is more. I don't know how else to say it. And guys, it's something about the consistency of this deck. And I'm not saying this is the best deck in the format yet. No, I'm just kidding. It's not the best deck yet, right? But guys, it pumps. I don't know how else to say it. The deck just absolutely pumps. And I can tell you right now, I've gone through so many different red, yellow Sabos. Let me get down to them. Guys, look at this. Okay. Let's just go through them real quick. I'm just going to read really quickly once we get to Red Yellow Sabo. Okay, so I have a Sky Island version. I don't know what some of these are. Revo Army, Revo plus Nami, 3-cost version. That one's interesting. With 8.5 cards in it. Big Mom Pirates, I've got like 6 versions of that. Edit 9, who even knows what that is anymore. An event version, a Straw Hat Crew. The version you see here, I just called it K9. I don't know why. Kun Assassin's version, this is someone from our from the Discord. Mom Beard. Odd, this is like an all odd curve. This is before Sabo was even out, or excuse me, this is before OP07 was out. This is a pre-OP07 list with and we will load that one in real quick. Look how close it is, by the way. Instead of running the Kid and Killers, I was running a small package of Enel stuff with Kikanojo, and let me go back to it now. Okay. And then watch this, just red, and then we have Red Yellow Sabo Stage Army. I'm working on a stage version of Revo Army. That could be pretty solid in OP09, but not quite yet. Straw Hat plus Jet Pistol testing. I even did a version where I tested 2 of every card, right? I've tried so many different versions of Red Yellow Sabo at this point. And then check this out. X, who knows what it is. And this was my original Red Yellow Sabo. You ready for this? Watch this. There it is. That's the OG Red Yellow Sabo build. And notice it's almost exactly like what we're running now, or what I just showed, the version with the 2-cost guys. But instead of running the 2-cost guys, it's running a package for, what are they called? Land of Wano. And then it was like, and I was running the Zoros. This one was a full-on Blitz version. 4 Luffy Rush, 4 Zoro Rush, 4 Kid and Killer Rush, 4 Ace Rush. Excuse me, I am running the 2-cost guys. I'm not running the Searchers. Excuse me, I messed that up. I'm not running the 1-cost Garp Searcher or the 1-cost Event Searcher. That's it. But everything else is like, in the place of them, I'm running more 2K counters because I've got 4 Otamas, 4 Satoris, and 4 Hayoris. And then I'm also running the Momonosuke's. I'm also running the 3 call stages because I have so many bricks in hand. But then after revising it more and more and more, guys, I'm coming back to this. Like, let me find the deck that we were just looking at, K9. Look at that. Guys, this is just a clean list. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I just think this list is incredibly clean. And there's a few revisions that can still be made. Like, there's probably a world where we go down 1 Searcher, the Event Searcher, and 1 Nami, and maybe we go up Karasu. Like, maybe we go up 2 Karasu's real quick. Okay? We actually gain a 1K counter. Because now, we do lose 1 trigger in that situation, and that is something we need to be very aware of. We need to, like, mentally pay attention to. But at the same time, not the worst thing in the world, right? Okay, we lose 1 counter, or excuse me, we lose 1 trigger, but we gain 1 counter. And then we lose 1 2-cost character, but we gain 2 4-cost characters. You see what I'm saying? Because one thing I will say is the deck going first is insane. For those who are wondering, do I want to go first or second with this list? Going first is nice. Always go first, and then playing this guy out right on curve to pop whatever they played last turn and getting a 6K body down, thumbs up. Real good, real nice every single time. However, going second doesn't feel great, okay? Going second does not feel great. Having Sanji is this is a great card in the deck. Let me tell you right now, this card is great. It is excellent. Nami as well. Nami is very solid as well, because if you go second and you go, okay, turn 2, play out Nami, give my leader plus, give him Banish, and then give him the 2 remaining Dawn for the turn and swing for 7 with Banish, that can start the game off very nicely. Now, one other thing I will say is it might be time to go down 1 or 2 of these Luffy's, because the most I've ever noticed me needing of this card is just like once. Like, I might need 1 a game, if that, maybe not even. And we can always search it up with cards like 3 Brothers Bond and cards like Garp. And then in that situation, let me also go over to, I was already on Karasu. So then I can add Karasu, I can get him up to a 3 count. One more thing I want to mention, and this is something to look forward to in the future, because I am going to kind of leave it here, and I want to see what you guys think. There's 2 cards that I want to add to this list. I don't know how to do it yet. It's just that simple. I don't actually know how to do it yet. I do want there to be like 2 or 3 Kikinojas in the deck in the final version. Maybe there's a world where we cut down like 1 of these aces and 1 of these Luffy's, the 2-cost Luffy. Maybe we cut down 2 of those. I don't want to mess with the numbers too much because I don't want to mess anything up. But Kikinoja as like a 2 or 3 of, even as a 4 of, the card is just good. It's just always a good card pretty much every single time. And then other than Kikinoja, looking forward to the future, let me go to 5-cost cards. We're going to have access to this very soon. This is a card in OP08.5. We have to probably work into the deck because it's just a good card. It's a card we could search up with Garp or 3 Brothers Bond. And when we stick it down on turn 3, going first or second, it is going to stick. It is pretty much always going to stick. This card I want to add, and there's 1 more. Let me see if I can find it. There's 1 more card I really want to add. Where are you? There, this one. Nami. I think this card... Notice in the version we have here, we actually have some decent KO support coming out of our life. We got 3 Onamis. We had 4 and 4, right? I was running, like, when I didn't have the Karasus. Let me just load in the normal version. 4 Onamis. That pops a 5 or less out of life. 4 Luffy's. That pops a 4 or less out of life. I would like to add this Nami as well, because there are times where we actually lose a little bit of, like, how do I say this? If I have 2 Luffy's and 2 aces in my hand, that's not good, right? In fact, that really stinks. Well, a card like Nami can fix a lot. A card like Nami can fix quite a bit, right? Very good stuff there. And I will mention this too while we're talking about preparing for OP08 and OP08.5. There is one other card I want to mention. It's a 3-cost card named Jewelry Bonnie. This is another card we got to really think about. Use our, we got to brainstorm. We got to theory craft. What do you guys think? I'm done yapping for now, guys. I don't have anything more to say. These are just cards I want to bring to y'all's attention. And I just want to say this, guys. Out of all the versions, so back to what I was saying with all these different versions we were going through. That was pretty much all of them. Sabo Beard's like a Whitebeard Pirates version. Sabo Wabo, I don't even know what that is. Straw Hats L8L. Strawbeard, Sabo Jet Pistol, Sabo Update, Sabo is Revo Army versions of Sabo, Skybo is another Sky Island version. I've gone through all these versions, and I have to say that the 3 best ones for me so far, the 3 best ones, number 1 has been Big Mom Pirates. It is what it is, but I think that will be short-lived because I don't think it gets enough in OP08 for it to stay as relevant as it is now. And I think the cards we just looked at from OP08, like for example, let me just type in Egghead. That's another idea, by the way, guys. Gosh, I don't even have enough time in the day to think about all this, right? But there could be an egghead version of the deck to experiment with later. But let's just stick on this for now. These two cards right here coming out in OP08, I think will be more beneficial in a deck like this. And I don't know. It's something we have to mess around with. But still getting some value from our trigger. Cards like Sanji, cards like Onami, cards like Luffy, and then potentially cards like Nami that's popping a 5 or less. It seems really strong. So, okay, so back to what I was saying. The top 3 versions, and they're only off by a slight margin. I think Big Mom Pirates has been the strongest version so far that I've put together. And then number 2 has been the Goa Kingdom version with the dual searchers, Garp, and the 1-cost event. And then it just has all these rush characters, pure aggression, pure aggro, however you want to say it, with the ability to switch on a dime to gain life and battle for board. This version is number 2, but very close with the Big Mom Pirates version. And number 3 has been Revo Army. The Revo Army version, guys, I will at least bring it up. That one has been very solid as well. But at the same time, this version, I think, let me just move this. It all fits on 2 lines. This version, I think, needs to wait until we get some of the stuff from OP09. Let me see if they have updated this yet. No, they have done some of these, like the Koala and the Sabo. But I think we have to wait for the guys over, who make the sim. We got to wait for Batsu to update this. No rush on that. Those guys are doing incredible. They're doing an incredible service for the game, for the community. But whenever they are able to update the sim, that's when I will put games in from OP09. Well, and then I'll be messing with Shanks, I'll be messing with Purple Black Luffy, Blackbeard, all that. But we have to wait for them to catch up on the sim. Let's give them some time, guys. They're doing an incredible job. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I'm done yapping. We got a lot to look forward to. The 3 ones I said, like I said, are Big Mom Pirates was number 1 for me so far. And then the Goa Island combo, 2-cost, 5-cost combo deck from ST19, and then number 3 was Revo Army. And then going into OP08, I think it will switch over to Goa Kingdom as number 1 with Big Mom Pirates dropping down a little bit. And then going into OP09, I think Revo Army will take over fully at that point. We'll have to see. That's just my predictions. You tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me get up the people who support the channel. Big shout out to everyone who supports the channel, guys. Whether you're viewing, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, whatever you're doing, I really appreciate it. The channel's growing. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank y'all so much. Anybody who bought the playmat, I hope it's I hope you guys are enjoying that. And what else? Big shout out to everybody who bought one. Oh, and last but not least, of course, the patrons. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. People just donating to try and help me out and try and just keeping things afloat over here. I really appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. All right, I'm done. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. Please do not be afraid to share any kind of comments, questions, or suggestions in the comment section below. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.